of British newspaper, The Telegraph's analysis. This analysis was published on May 8, 2025. Why is the Indian Air Force grounded, and why are they afraid to fly again? At 4 a.m., an unusual event occurred, not on the battlefield, but in the diplomatic arena. Reports indicate that China's ambassador made an emergency phone call to Rawalpindi, Pakistan. Within hours, a long-prepared contingency plan was activated. What followed was not just an aerial skirmish, it was a revelation that shattered India's long-propagated myth of air superiority and broke the confidence of Western powers. The Indian Air Force had been preparing for days, with nearly 180 fighter jets concentrated on the Western Front. The objective was clear: repeat Balakot, break Pakistan's defenses, and reassert strategic dominance. But the skies were no longer the same. The IAF never crossed the designated boundary. They knew what lay beyond. Pakistan's J-10C fighters, armed with China's PL-15 missiles, capable of striking beyond 300 kilometers at Mach 5 speeds, Janiye and WACS radars, linking every shooter into a lethal network. India didn't just face Pakistani fighters, they witnessed China's full aerial warfare. Deployed from Skardu to Hazard and Rafale, they faced one Rafale worth $250 million was shot down mid-air. Another barely made it back. The Spectre EW system, designed to protect it, failed completely. The PL-15 missile didn't rely on traditional radar. It used AI-driven stealth targeting. This was no dogfight. It was an ambush. Pakistan's Air Force, aided by Chinese satellites and AWACS, succeeded in a sensor fusion warfare. The Rafales couldn't lock onto their targets or even see their attackers. By the time missiles struck, it was already over. That's why India's air fleet was grounded. That's why they stay 300 kilometers behind the border. Not because they lack courage, but because they've lost confidence. Strategic humiliation. The implications are massive. India's pride, the Rafale, was downed by a Chinese missile fired from a Pakistani jet. This wasn't just a military failure. It was a political message. Even de Bloomberg noted, "This is a live demonstration of China-Pakistan's integrated war strategy." Western analysts were stunned. French defense deals came under scrutiny, and China silently smiling. The game has changed. This isn't to 2019. This isn't Balakot. India now knows that entering Pakistani airspace means stepping into a Qatar kill zone, woven together by J-10Cs, PL-15S, and Pakistani resolve. So they stay back, grounded by fear, blinded by radar, silently disgraced. The Indian pilot didn't lose due to lack of skill. He lost in a battlefield he couldn't even see, one built by satellites, sensors, and machines. In May 2025, the game changed. India's dream of air dominance, built on 36 Rafales, Spectre EW, and French engineering, was annihilated over Kashmir's skies. This wasn't just an air battle, it was an ideological collapse, witnessed by military experts worldwide. The Rafale was deemed invincible. Its tech was considered superior to the F-35. But that day, it walked into a trap it couldn't see or escape. China's silent strike. China intervened. Not with jets, but with networks. No J-20s appeared. No war was declared. Just a system of silent web tracking every enemy move. Pakistan's Iri AWACS on patrol. J-10Cs, armed with Mach 5 PL-15E missiles. The Rafale didn't know it was targeted until the missile was 50 kilometers away. At that speed, the Indian pilot had 9 seconds. No time to react, no way to evade. Why the IAF is grounded. You won't see Indian fighters over Kashmir anymore. Why? Because every takeoff is instantly detected by Pakistani radars. Because Iri sees what Indian radars can't. Yeah, because the RPL-15C outranges the Rafale's defenses. Because the Rafale, in his silver bullet, is now just a $250 million sitting duck. The IAF outranks $300 behind its Helicopter 2.0. Impossible. Let's go. Rafale's maker saw stocks freeze. Chinese defense firms, Avic, Chengdu, LD, surged because this battle wasn't decided by dogfights, but by C4 ISR dominance. Command, control, communications, computers, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. Pakistan didn't overpower India. They out-networked them. And India, stunned, was forced to keep its jets on the ground. Shiutu Duanj Sinti. India's pain. Pakistan's message.